It's day 3, people. Make some noise. Welcome back to the opening week of the 2019 Overwatch League season. We are here in Los Angeles to get you set for another day of some serious Overwatch action. Here's a look at the London Spitfire. London lost their grand finals rematch to the Philadelphia Fusion on Thursday, but the reigning champions are hoping to bounce back today. Standing in their way is the only other team representing the European region in the Overwatch League, the Paris Eternal. Paris will look to make a statement in their league debut against the last season's champions. Welcome inside the Blizzard Arena, the sold-out Blizzard Arena. The fans are streaming in for another day of madness on the Overwatch League stage. This is Watchpoint, the pre-show, and we're here every match day to set the table for what's about to go down. I'm Malik Forte, joined by Zoe, Uber, and Mr. X. Guys, we're halfway through opening week, and it's been, as you would say, Matt, quite lit.
Yeah, it's been pretty eventful thus far. I think one team that's really come out and not really surprised me, but lived up to expectations is the San Francisco Shock. They looked great yesterday. So many weapons that this roster has that they can throw at you. You saw all of them on display against the Dallas Fuel. I think towards the end of last season, the Shock, they started to come on, play strong. I think they're going to be a whole different beast this year, though.
And straight from fast food paradise to the Overwatch League, Dufresne is here, ladies and gentlemen. You love to see it. What a way to open up this match against the Mayhem. First making a grand entrance and then starting to style a little bit on the battlefield. We love the Torbjorn play. The redemption arc is finally complete and topped it off as well with jumping off the map at the end of that round. You just can't get any better than that.
Yeah, I mean, Dufresne was definitely a highlight. However, I would say the most entertaining match of the entire day had to be the last one. Hunters going up against the Charge. That was in a complete brawl. It was chaos. It was everything I wanted out of that match, and it was a bit of a surprise. Hunters took it in the end by just madness. It was just madness. That's everything that happened there.
Very chaotic.
Definitely way more surgical than I expected any matches to be on the first week. The first week, guys. So we've got a solid show planned for you guys on this Saturday. The Washington Justice coach, Wizard Young, talks about his departure from NYXL and why he thinks the Justice are underrated. Plus, the Vancouver Titans debut brings the Korean contenders hype train rolling into the Overwatch League, and the season is young. So we're going to give you a heads up on what's to come with some most likely twos for 2019. Another stacked 4-match lineup for you today. London and Paris get things started. The LA Valiant make their 2019 debut against the 1-0 Hangzhou squad, and Shanghai is still hoping for their first franchise win against Vancouver. Perhaps the most intriguing match puts Washington against New York. Justice coach Wizard will lead Washington against his old team. The NYXL got off on the right foot Thursday with a win over Boston and somehow look even scarier than 2018. We should point out that Mr. X is a diehard NYXL fan.
I can't deny it.
All right, Mr. Hometown, how has New York gotten better this year?
Look, I think, where they could have went crazy and added a lot of pieces to their roster, they just added the right pieces. And, you bring in Flower, and I think Nene was the one who really showed out the other day, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, every hero he can play, Zarya was fantastic. But there's also, when you add this depth to the lineup, when you can win games against top teams with a player like Nene, Savior B can take a few games off, Pine can take a few games off, which prevents some of that burnout that really hit them towards the end of last year. I really like the additions that NYXL made in the offseason.
Right, it makes them way more versatile. All right, so for the Justice, Zoe, Janice followed Coach Wizard to Washington. Can he hold it down as the only main tank on that squad?
That's a very good question, Malik, and it's really hard to say because so far we've not seen an awful lot of him. He has a very aggressive playstyle. That did not work at all for the NYXL, who are playing a lot more passive, and there was just never really a good reason to field him over Mono, arguably one of Meko was just so outstanding that Janus never really saw that playtime. So it leads me to wonder, can he be that main tank for a team? This is the moment where he can shine. This is where he can prove that he can be.
I mean, one of the parts of this team that I'm really excited about is in the flex support position. Farzix has been grinding for a long time in Overwatch. Since like 2016.
He's an OG.
He's an OG by now.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a nasty, a fantastic addition to this team. He came up from the Energy roster, which actually Stratus came up with him from that team. So there's pre-existing synergy there.
Right.
Guy's been on the scene for ages. He's young. He's hungry. He's going to produce results.
All right. Well, let's flip from two East Coast teams to one of our hometown squads, the Los Angeles Valiant. Now, the LA Valiant will kick off their 2019 season against Hangzhou You hear that crowd? They love them. Now the Spark, they earned their first franchise win in their first match against the Shanghai Dragons on Thursday, and the Valiant finished second overall in the season standings last season. Their roster isn't all that different, Uber, but will they use it differently this time around?
It's a great question. Kuki's a curious addition to this lineup. Obviously, bilingual, will be able to cover both languages. I think that strong core is still present in the team. Fate and Space are going to be out there just doing the work. Definitely question marks of what their DPS lineup looks like now. But I'm personally very bullish on this guy here. Izayaki, a lot of good things I've heard about this guy. Everyone on the Valiant and outside says to keep an eye out for this guy.
Yeah, as you just said, Mitch, the DPS situation looks a little bit worrisome for these teams. We also saw a change again. Karif is going to be back on DPS. We saw this guy playing DPS in stage 3, more forced into the role than wanted to, and it looked shaky. Let's be fair here. It didn't look good, but that was also the time where Valiant kind of went through this whole revamp.
Just a phase, Mum.
Yeah,
just a phase.
It was a bit tragic there, not gonna lie. Now he's back on the DPS role, which he obviously can play. However, when we sat down with the teams prior to the league starting, he didn't seem super happy about it. He didn't seem super confident about it. I hope that changed within the last week.
All right, well, okay, on the other side, Mr. X, what did you like from the Hangzhou Sparks win over Shanghai? They look really strong.
Yeah, look, I liked a lot of the different composition that the Spark ran yesterday. We heard a lot of rumblings coming into the league. This team is not going to be one that's just going to stick with 3 tanks, 3 supports. They're going to mix things up. And I think for now, because they have such great individual talent, that'll work. The only thing I'm worried about is, as time goes on and teams get more experience playing against some of these odder comps, do they adjust? Are they able to counter them quite easily? But right now, the Spark are definitely looking solid.
Right, they're doing a lot of surprising things with the comps, but can they persist to do that the entire
Is it sustainable
season?
for a whole
season?
season?
Is it sustainable? That's a good question. All right, well, the Spark are quickly becoming fan favorites thanks to their play style and those dope pink jerseys. Somebody please buy me one. But let's bring in one of our 3 insiders for the 2019 season, Emily Tang. Emily, how are the Spark handling their first week in the Overwatch League?
Thanks, Malik. Well, I just spoke with Hangzhou's general manager, Doubleside, about their historic victory on opening day. And he told me that the team was actually a little bit nervous when they walked out on the stage for the first time, that they could, quote, barely breathe. But they shook it off to claim the first ever victory for a Chinese team. And while he told me they were too exhausted to celebrate their big win on Thursday, they weren't too tired to plan some fun elements as their walkout as team of the day in the Overwatch League. Can't wait to see what they have in store. Malik, back to you at the desk.
All right, thank you, Emily. One of the brightest spots for the Spark in their first match was Bebe. I love saying it like that, Bebe.
Bebe.
We'll see how Hangzhou handles a tougher test today when they face off against the Valiant. And speaking of tests, the 2018 champion London Spitfire failed their first one on Thursday. How can they bounce back today? We'll tell you soon on the Watchpoint Preshow.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered.
Cowley Green.
Paris Eternal are really going to represent
That's
Europe.
my concern.
Paris Eternal.
Nous sommes Paris Eternal.
We are the Paris Eternal.
Oui, je suis vraiment très excité de représenter la France et surtout l'Europe pour montrer à quel point les joueurs sont talentueux dans cette région.
I think one of our biggest strengths of the team right now is we're actually a team. There's no doubt, there's no hatred, there's nothing like that. We all want to improve together.
Si je devais décrire mon équipe en un mot, ça serait la cohésion. On passe beaucoup de temps ensemble, on est unis dans le jeu et autour du jeu.
We are very good friends. We are Europeans, so it helps. And yeah, we are a family.
French fans are so supportive. When I went to France and played in the World Cup against France, it was crazy. The desk was literally vibrating so much. You could hear through the soundproof headsets like how loud they were. Can't wait to play, do well and do them proud.
Oui, j'espère vraiment que certains Français vont venir sur le stage de l'Overwatch League pour montrer à quoi se réfère un vrai public.
Your team might be called London, but I am from London. I'll show you what that means soon.
Ooh, some spicy words from Cruz, the young Spice Lord of the Paris Eternal. In about 20 minutes, we'll see if the Eternal can back it up against our 2018 Grand Finals champions, the London Spitfire. London does not want to start off their championship defense campaign 0-2. Mr. X, how do they avoid doing that?
Look, I mean, I don't think they need any motivation. You know, listen to some of the clips, right? No, I don't think that's going to bother them that much.
Yeah.
I think they need just gesture to play a little bit better on the Reinhardt. It's something that we saw a little bit during last season. You know, they would always kind of go towards, you know, the Winston or Orisa. They really kind of stayed away from these Reinhardt comps. You can't really do that, you know, in this type of meta. Like, you're going to need to play, like, you know, some Reinhardt-heavy compositions with the Zarya and the D.Va as well. And I think you just need to see him, you know, step that up a little bit better. We know what Gesture can do on Orisa and Winston. He's fantastic at those two heroes. You're going to need that strong Reinhardt play here, though.
The man, he broke Zoe's heart. It was heartbreaking to watch that. And Zoe, Paris has the only all-European roster in the league. What edge might that give them against the Spitfire?
Actually, right now, I would say quite an edge because the European region is well known for its tank play. And this very squad is actually sporting some of the best tank compositional team, the 3-3 team, Eagle Gaming in the world. We have Hip as well as, of course, Nico, who have been on that team. And their coaching staff is very, very familiar with that composition. So I would say this meta does nothing but favor the Paris squad.
Yeah, they really love that composition over in Europe. I'm really interested to see how Soon sort of performs in this roster. It's not a question of whether he's skilled enough, because we know that's the case, but Zarya is probably what he's going to be playing on this particular roster if they're going to be playing that triple tank, triple support comp. Soon is incredible in hit scan meta and is a standout star player. Zarya is definitely going to be a different course for him to take in terms of how he sets up fights, how he supports his main tank as well. Does he have the brain for it? I'm sure he does, but will he be able to show is the question.
And you also had Finzi and Nico in the starting lineup, and Nico has played some D.Va in the past, so maybe they will have, you know, Soon playing something like a Brig in that matchup. You never know.
Right. And, you know, later today, we'll see another team making their league debut against a franchise still seeking their first win. The Vancouver Titans enter the Overwatch League with a lot of hype, as they are almost entirely made up of the Korean Contender Season 2 champions, Runaway. Shanghai fell to Hangzhou on Thursday, and we're still waiting to see if their new main tank, Gamsu, is going to be in the game. So, Zoe, did you see anything that gives you hope for the Dragons on Thursday?
Actually, a lot of things. I think everyone would agree that they, first of all, looked a lot better than everything we've seen from them in the first season. And now Gregory, she actually really stood out to me on her Hammond play.
So good.
Out of everything. She was leading on that very day. If we just ignore that yesterday and Rio happened on Hammond, we agree that completely. She was #1 in hero damage, #1 in grappling claw kills. She was #1 in minefield kills. And that is her stacking up against tanks such as Fisher and Cheshire and Muma, and that is big.
Absolutely, but she's top performer in their role so far. It's looking really good. There are a couple other, you know, wrecking ball players that are looking like they're up there, but she was stellar.
Indeed. Uber, we've talked about how excited people are for this Vancouver squad. Which players have you the most hype coming in?
I mean, the whole team, first of all, was like an Apex Season 2 champion over Kongdu Panthera, who actually are featured somewhat on this Shanghai roster. But Huxel and Stitch, these guys have been a duo since 2016. Huxel going to this roster, or the previous roster, when he was 15 years old. in the incubator that is the Korean Overwatch scene. Guy was known for being an incredibly good Genji player. He diversified that with Pharah. We saw even Doomfist from him. And then Stitch, his offsider, is the hit scan specialist of the two. It's Tracer, Widowmaker. We've seen him on a ton of those picks. So put together, those guys are covering all your bases.
Will it translate into Overwatch League wins, though? That's what it's about for me. I mean, they have this great run in contenders. They have all this magic, right? It's like, can they live up to that hype? It's like, me and Malik, big fans of real sports. You're starting to get into basketball here.
Traditional sports.
Traditional sports. Big fan, yeah, traditional sports. And,
love chess.
You look at it's the age-old question, right? It's like Kentucky college basketball beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? When they don't have LeBron James. It's like, can a top contenders team come into Overwatch League and beat one of the top teams? We're about to find out.
You didn't have to say the Browns, man. Come on. Or the Cavaliers, rather.
Well, it's like
leave Ohio alone,
Cleveland,
bro.
Ohio sports.
Leave Ohio alone. All right, well, the Washington Justice will make their debut today as well. In just a bit, we'll hear from their head coach, Wizard Young, about how he plans to prove all the haters wrong. This is the Watchpoint pre-show. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Watchpoint pre-show. It's going down inside the sold-out Blizzard Arena for day 3 of the 2019 season. During the NYXL's of their success, which is why it was surprising to see the two part ways during the offseason. So why the breakup between New York and now Washington Justice head coach? Well, turns out it's complicated.
I bet it is.
That's it! Philadelphia Fusion is going to the grand finals!
New York XL played their hearts out tonight, but they were simply overpowered.
What led to your departure from the NYXL?
Complicated, but
위자드 코치님이 이제 뉴욕에서 나가고 워싱턴 DC의 코치님으로 가셨는데 저희랑은 그냥 추구하는 방향이 달라서 이렇게 갈라서는 거기 때문에
이 코치님 나가셨을 땐 슬펐지만 어차피 리그 안에 아직 있으시니까 조금 슬펐어요.
There were some mistakes that I made last season. The majority of the time last year, I did a great job, but because I'm a human being, I also make mistake. Being a genius doesn't mean that you are not making a mistake, you know? So.
He's actually a typical genius. You know, like he's not just like tuning his own horn.
기도 라인 어제 나만큼 할 수 있어?
코칭 스타일은 일단 다른 사람들과는 차원이 다른 것도 맞긴 맞아요. 그러니까 굉장히 많은 데이터 같은 걸 가지고 계시고 팩트로만 약간 얘기를 하시고.
What the community has been saying is very much tilting me. Pretty much all the power rankings are putting us around like 20, 17, 19. And the reasoning behind us being ranked as 20 is just LOL, you know?
When I look at this team on paper now, I think Wizard Hyung's got a battle on his hands. They look like the weakest team in the league.
I want to make a video of me just printing out the Overwatch power ranking, and then, you know, kind of thing, you know.
위자드 형 코치가 아무리 똑똑하다라고 해도 만약에 6명 플레이어가 그거를 따라가지 못한다면은 결국 팀이 일어설 수 있을지 모르겠네요.
오늘 롤스 앞에서 코치 연습할래? This season, we have nothing to lose. What should we be afraid of? No.
The Justice players in that piece definitely seem to be buying into the Wizard way. We talked about Janice coming with him from New York. They also picked up Otto from the Shanghai Dragons. Uber, how much are you buying into this wizardry?
Well, I mean, he has to believe the hype because he's given himself a very difficult job, obviously, with a completely new team he's had to put together himself.
Yes.
I mean, he's getting triggered by what the community's saying. Try being a caster, bro. Like, come on, man. Like,
he's got to be one of the best wizards ever if he's going to turn this.
I don't know. I think Gandalf and Co can make
this genius talk has to stop because at the end of the day, it's going to have to be his players who need to get out there and have the fundamentals to enact what he wants them to do.
I agree
he's
with
in
you,
a
though.
great position, though.
I'm a genius
he's
as well.
hyping up himself, and then he can blame the players for not executing his grand vision.
I hope
so
that doesn't happen.
he's actually in a really good position there.
It was at this very desk when we first heard him proclaim himself a genius, and I remember your reaction then. So I was wondering if this was going to trigger you when he said it just now. Did it trigger you?
I just think it's completely like I guess it's a brand by now, you know what I mean? So like you may as well wear it. It's like Bren making ridiculous tweets that make no sense on Twitter just to get likes. I mean, it's the same
Is that
thing,
your
I guess.
brand?
That's not my brand.
Okay.
That's a jab at
Oh, my
Brett.
goodness. All right, guys, we are just getting started in this 2019 season, but we like to think that we already know what's going to happen. So we're going to play a little game called Most Likely To, and it's pretty simple. I'll give a category, the analysts write their answers, and then we'll see who has it right.
I should be super good at this.
We're good? All right, well, okay, guys, this is the first question. Who is most likely to entertain during walkouts? Give me something good. Last year, Florida Mayhem, bar none. This year, it's up in the air, so it's gonna be interesting to see what you guys have. All right, reveal your answers in 3, 2, 1.
I'm doing it now.
Flipped it, all right. Zoe has the spark.
I got
Uber has Dante.
Yo,
Taimu.
yeah,
Directs
single
Taimu.
player.
Taimu.
I took a whole
Taimu.
team.
Wait.
Yo, and Taimu,
White Taimu. White Taimu.
Oh, he's going to go hype when he walks out. Taimu's going
Hype
to come
like what?
on, put on
Okay.
the show.
I tell
Power walk.
The
Yo,
fans
my
are gonna
boy
go
Dante
crazy.
has been watching plenty of WWE, bro. He knows how to make an entrance. He's like a wrestler. Give him the chair or just a hand to the face. Bam!
Ooh.
Yeah, okay, in all seriousness, no one was hurt in the making this video, but
Oh my
sometimes
goodness,
you
that
can't
poor
see
woman.
where you're going.
He wasn't even.
Okay. So she dodged.
Almost took her glasses. All right.
They dodged it. It was fine.
All right, next one. Most likely to forget who someone plays for. This one is for the broadcast team. So don't pick me, please. Please don't pick me.
I'm sorry.
Even though that might be the right answer.
I'll wait this time to reveal.
All right. Reveal your answers in 3, 2, 1. Brent. The man's not even here to defend himself.
He
Oh my
doesn't even know what
goodness.
day it is, mate. Yeah, like you think he's jet lagged right now, but it'll be the same all throughout the year.
Only
so
because
he's got no idea.
he just got here. Let him.
Yeah, like 3 days ago.
Okay.
All right, moving on to our last one. Who's most likely to be replaced by Jake on the broadcast next season? The spicy one, right? The spicy one. All right.
Ah, this is tough. You
Man.
throw coworkers under the
Better not put me on there, man. Don't bring that karma on me. All right. Reveal your answers in 3, 2, 1.
I need a new casting partner.
Matt.
Oh, look at this.
Hit me up,
Look,
Jake.
look at how mean.
Matt?
Look at how mean.
Matt said nobody.
I said nobody.
Matt took
It'll be the dream
dignified
team,
route.
brother. The
said
dream
nobody.
team. Hit me up when you're done with the whole playing thing.
How would you guys? Nobody would be able to. One person would speak for the whole map, then the next person would speak for the whole map. Between the two of you guys.
So I'm just
I don't
gonna
know
put.
how you
I'll
guys
just put
talk.
my feet up like you do for every cast.
Matt, you best step up your game, man. Your colleagues aren't like working with you too much, man.
Malik, you like working with me?
I love working
We're
with you,
buds.
dog. I love working with you.
You had to say that.
All right, guys. It is almost time.
Yes.
And look, it's the London Spitfire setting up their computers, getting ready to go. These guys are looking to hang another championship banner here at the Blizzard Arena and stay off, going off 0-2. And on the other side, they got to go through the Paris Eternal, who have a rabid fan base awaiting their first match. And you best believe they're expecting them to bring home a victory. We'll be right back. The energy is bubbling over inside the sold-out Blizzard Arena here in Los Angeles, and it's almost time to throw down. But before we hand it off to our casters for our first match, let's see who our analysts are picking to win today. Zoe and Mr. X are taking Paris to send London to 0-2.
Oh, there you go, sir.
All three of our analysts like New York over Washington and Vancouver over Shanghai. Uber is by himself taking the Valiant over Hangzhou. He also likes London over Paris. You know what that means. Zoe versus Uber, 30-second face-off. Go.
Get him, Zoe.
All right, bring it, mate. Chalet Le Bleu. There is nothing the French squad can't achieve if they set their mind to it. They have two Eagle Gaming players in there with Hip and, of course, Nico. They have Soon. I mean, come on. You can't ever bet against Soon popping off. And overall, this team has a coaching staff which is well respected.
Okay, first of all, too many carbs in baguettes. That's the first one. London has a solid court. They're returning champions. There's no reason you can just write them off. I love a new flavor. I love a new team. I don't think they're going to have what it takes to take London.
I'm not going. I'm sorry. I'm Uber.
I'll be the tiebreaker. I'm going to go side with side.
Well, I have a flag too.
Thank you.
I'm not going against. I'm not going against that fan base. I'm sorry. My last name is Forte. I got to go with the French team. All right, guys. That's all for us on the Watchpoint pre-show. The London Spitfire versus the Paris Eternal is next. And I also want to say, guys, it's so good to be here. I know a lot of you guys were wondering where I was. So happy to be here with you guys. Blizzard Arena, make some noise. We're getting ready to get into our third day of Overwatch. Let's play some games.